Good afternoon to all. A cordial welcome to all the participants in this masterclass, which is really having an enthralling theme, which is quite relevant to our contemporary times. And I think when it comes to the relevance of the theme to our contemporary times, the most important thing that we face in contemporary times, even after achieving education, other things, that we are caught in a tussle, in a dilemma between the employment and entrepreneurship. And exactly that goes the theme for our today's masterclass, that is career planning and employment or entrepreneurship. So this is to understand the tussle that most of the students face in the contemporary times, whether we should go this way or that way. And we are blessed to have Dr. Ritesh Verma sir for this enthralling theme here. I may fall short of words in introducing Dr. Ritesh Verma ji, because we are having a long list of achievements regarding sir. So let me conclude and make it quite precise that sir is a seasoned professional with over 26 years of experience in information technology, primarily within the financial services domain. Sir has a diverse background spanning across renowned organizations such as Accenture, Capgemini, Deloitte, KPMG, Tata's, etc. He has also been entrepreneur with a startup in IIoT, that's Industrial Internet of Things technology. Sir brings a wealth of expertise to the table. His journey has seen him take on various roles from consultant to mentor, exemplifying his versatile skill set as a mentor. He actually actively contributes to the startup ecosystem. Sir is founder of non-profit cancer care platform, that's pratima.net. It is after experiencing multiple challenges during a long fight of his mother. So this is really inspirational, and the alarming rate of cancer which is increasing. So it's really inspirational for us all that Sir has been able to achieve this goal. So for that very purpose, he created this platform to support cancer patients and caretakers. He and his venture has received multiple awards, though it has been recognized. These awards include Rashtriya Abhiman Puraskar, Most Trusted Cancer Care Platform in India at International Healthcare Leadership Award, IF Atmanirbhar Bharat Award, Man of Excellence Award 2020-21 by India's Achievers Firm. Congratulations, sir. We may be a bit delayed in congratulating you for these awards. And
Thank you,
this is
doctor.
really tremendous, especially that comes to cancer caretaking. That's really tremendous. Especially it's an inspiration from that's practical experience from that of the mother. That's really inspirational for us all. When it comes to the publication of the work, so sir has multiple articles to his credit, and they have been published in leading print and digital media. He has been speaker and panelist at conferences supported by NASCOM, and we really feel blessed today that we have Dr. Ritesh Verma sir today with us on the for this masterclass, which is on career planning, employment, or entrepreneurship. And let me again reiterate it that this is one of the greatest dilemmas for the students, for the educated people in the contemporary times, whether we should go this way or that way. And to clarify this, we have this masterclass, and we have been blessed to have Dr. Ritesh Verma sir. So over to sir, kindly
Uh,
you
thank you so much, Dr.
guide us
Ashraf.
in this.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ashraf, and thank you everyone from lovely professional university. This is a great university. I have always been hearing great things about the university. Always wanted to interact with the bright students of the university. And most importantly, recently I heard that the university has lots of students participating in sports like Olympic. So congratulations. So am I audible, Dr. Ashraf? Am I audible?
So yes, sir, you're loud and clear.
Okay, thank you. So this is, I would like to thank the faculty members, respected faculty members, Dr. Vidya Talwar, and everyone who has given me opportunity to interact with the so bright students of the university. It's an honor. Now moving on to the subject which I have. Let me tell you why most of the information you would feel is available at Google. So why do you need people to tell you or to advise you? I'll tell you simply one thing. It's because many people have gone through the professional experience, and right now, since I'm also mentor in IIT for the startups, I'm seeing how the technology is changing, how the trend is changing, how the job opportunities are changing, and what is the expectation from the corporates uh, for the students and for the universities. It is not very easy, and this is very important. Please listen to this and please keep in mind. It is not very easy for universities or whichever university you want to name, to change their curriculum at the pace with the way corporates are changing or the demand in corporate is increasing. The change in curriculum requires lots of effort and has to go through multiple attritions and has to go through multiple approvals. So it is not very easy to change that. So people, especially students these days, have to do self-study. If we are talking of, say, 15 or 20 years back, there were two major, from the IT perspective, there were two major, two major programming language. It was mainframe and Java. So if someone does, someone learns Java or mainframe, they were quite acceptable in the industry. But right now the situation is that with the Python, with AI and ML, there are so many programming languages and so many changes which are happening. Right now, I'm talking only from the IT perspective. And even in the other field, whatever field you take, whether it is manufacturing, whether it is supply chain, the things are changing dynamically. I'm sure you all are going through the news and you all are quite uh, well informed of the change which is happening in the technology, change which is happening in the domain. It's phenomenal. From IIT perspective, I'll just give you one example. Since I'm mentoring lots of startups, just imagine a startup has been developed, and yesterday I was talking to its founder. I will also name, since now it is in public domain, Haystack Analytics. And from, the product which they have developed, from the spit, which we call in Hindi, poop, from the spit on a machine, from using genomics and genetics, they give the report of what disease this person can have in next 15 years, what are the precautions, lifestyle changes, and what are the medicines this person needs to take to prevent that disease which is going to happen to a person in next 5 years, next 10 years, next 15 years. Just imagine where it has gone to. We are not curing the disease. They use genomics, they use predictive analytics. Haystack Analytics is the name of the organization. It's on the website. It has a website. They are predicting the disease a person can have in next 5, 10, 15, 20 years. And they are prescribing what kind of precautions a person needs to do to avoid those kind of disease. So the reason why I'm telling you this is that there has been a great shift in the corporate world, and it is shifting. There is a right shift every day, every hour. and it's changing dynamically. Now, as a student, it is expected that you do self-learning, because any university, whether you go to IIT, IIM, whether you go to any college, university, it has a fixed curriculum. And as I said earlier, and I'm re-emphasizing it, so that many times there is a misconception that uh, the universities are not doing enough or we are not market relevant, but it's not easy to change the courses and curriculum every month. And the technology and the corporate expectation is changing every month these days. So, coming to the job and entrepreneurship, the topic which I have selected or which we have discussed with the university and which we thought will be very relevant to the students and will provide some positive insights. So, I would cover most of the portion from the employment perspective, that is job, and then some part from the entrepreneurship perspective. So, let me share the screen. Is it visible, the screen?
Yeah. Yes, sir. This is it.
Okay, thank you so much. So now when you go to corporate after doing your college, so there are different types of industry, there are different types of work. So you have to focus on three things. One is the industry which you want to be part of. So for example, financial services is one industry, if you see the first column. So this is based on what is your interest, but also what is the demand in the market. So you may be interested in some industry which right now or when you pass out is going through a bad phase. So for example, uh, when we say a bad phase, what financial services went through a very bad phase when Lehman Brothers happened. Okay, no one wanted to join financial services. The US stock, Wall Street collapsed, the UK banks collapsed, the Indian banks collapsed. Not collapse is not the right word. They were facing the tough time after Lehman Brothers. So suppose someone would have passed out then and wanted to make a career in financial services, then that was not a good time. It requires some kind of lean period or some patience of many years, especially for a fresher to get into the industry. So first of all, I suggest you develop your interest and develop your mindset in which kind of industry you want to go to. When we talk of financial services, the financial services includes all the banks. If we talk of Indian banks, so IndusInd, Kotak, ICICI, Axis. Uh, if we talk of US banks, then and investment banks, then JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley. Uh, Also share trading, also insurance. So why I'm emphasizing is that financial services has lots of scope. It has scope in banking, it has scope in capital markets, the share trading platform, etc., which say ICICI Direct or any share trading platform, and insurance, which is life insurance, non-life insurance. So financial services is a very big span. And if you get a financial services experience in India, then there is a way out in organizations like Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan, Barclays, Bank of America, and Indians. I was in US for many years working in Bank of America, Charlotte, their head office. So I can tell you that they really look to have the Indian mindset, considering them good personal to the services in financial services. So, so financial services is one aspect where you can make your career. And I suggest that anyone who is interested in mathematics, anyone who is interested in bit of share trading, anyone who share transactions, etc., anyone who is interested in company's balance sheet, and understand the P&L, that is profit, loss of the organization. So those aspects, I suggest that you start reading about the financial services and try to develop your skill in financial services domain. So when we talk of domain, it means the business part, how a company, when it at the end of the year, for example, what I suggest is that if you are interested, then start with understanding the line items of balance sheet. When a company publishes the yearly or quarterly balance sheet report, what does it mean? What does the revenue means? What does EBITDA means, earning before tax? What is gross operating profit? So you start learning what are these terms, what are these figures, what is the order book. So once you understand these things, then it will be very easy for you to sail through and get into the nitty-gritties of financial services. So financial services is one part. Next is manufacturing. So if anyone is interested in the plant maintenance or manufacturing, say Tata Steel or BMW parts, BMW steel plant, Larsen Tobro, then manufacturing these days is also driven a lot by technology. I'll go to the next column when we talk of technology. But right now, if you are interested in, say, organizations like Larsen Tobro or Steel Authority, which makes steel, and the shop floor interests you, the plant interests you, then the best thing is start learning about IoT, which is Internet of Things. Because these days, the demand is that every machine, and IoT, I'll tell you what is IoT. IoT has the sensors, which is heat sensor, temperature sensor, vibration sensor. These sensors are fit into machines. And these machines then give out the signals on the cloud, mentioning which machines requires maintenance. So these days, there were time when lots of people were on shop floor and every machines or the steel production was totally manual. But now the times have changed. It's not totally 100% automated, so you will see people on shop floors at Steel Authority, Larsen Tobro, Tata Steel, Telco, making cars, Mahindras. But then lots of things are automated. So if you want to go into the manufacturing sector, I suggest you learn, do self-learning about IoT. The third part is retail. Now, retail, there was a boom few years back. Retail, when we say it is about Big Bazaar, it is Futures, DMart. So, all the retail shops, pantaloons. So, wherever there is a supply chain, it's fully driven by the supply chain, the demands. This is also very interesting. And if someone has interest in logistics and supply chain, it is a very good area to get into. These days retail also has a lots of predictive analytics. I'll tell you how it is very interesting. I was sitting with the retail head of one of the organizations. So just understand, let me give you an example of Big Bazaar. Now, in a Big Bazaar, during festival seasons, they do a predictive analytics beforehand of, for example, it is Diwali, then what are the raw materials, what are the sweets which are made in Diwali generally in the households, and where the raw material needs to increase and go. You understand, if it is Diwali and lots of people are making sweets at home, and if it is Holi and lots of people are making sweets, if it is if it is Eid, lots of people are making sevaiya and kheer, then accordingly, based on the population of the earlier 3 or 4 years of the history, they do their supply chain planning that in Diwali, for example, I'll give you another, in Maharashtra, for example, during Ganpati, lots of sweets and other things are made. So the raw material has to be given accordingly, but not in the same proportion in the other states. Similarly, there are festivals which are there in Punjab, there are festivals which are there in South. So they do the whole planning. Because in Ganpati, for example, if they give more more raw materials of the same kinds of sweets which are made as per the festive in, say, Chennai, then it may rot. I mean, the cell may not be as in proportion. So this segmented based on the state, they segment it based on the district, they segment it based on the festivals, they segment it based on the last 5 years of the sales, which store in which district had a sale of which product. So they segment it that way. It is also very interesting. So most of the predictive analytics is used in retail. So if someone is very interested in doing analysis and analytics, then retail is the right fit, because it is very interesting to do all this retail, analytics. Another example is Shopper Stop. Now, Shopper Stop they have season-wise supply chain. For example, in December or winters in North, there are certain kinds of apparels, dresses which will sell. While in places like Mumbai, where there is never winter, so the woolen or those winter preventing clothes will not sell. So the whole supply chain has to be managed. So why I'm saying is that these days many people, many students are interested in analytics, predictive analytics, prescriptive analytics. So it will be very interesting to get into the retail field. The fourth field is oil and gas. So oil and gas is basically the oil exploration from Reliance, the ONGCs, etc. Indian Oil, and the gas would be basically the Gujarat gas, or it also includes actually the electricity and the other things which are generated from turbines. So if someone is very interested in the oil exploration fields, because I've seen many people are interested in oil exploration. Many people are interested in, to go into the deep sea kind of setup of Reliance, and it interests many people to do that oil exploration. So this is also one of the field. Next one is telecom. Now, telecom was a booming field. When Vodafone, Airtel was there, and they had a good client base, good revenue. But these days in telecom, the price war is very high. Even 1 rupee or 2 rupee up and down makes the customer move from one service provider to other service provider. So these days it is becoming very price competitive. So if someone wants to get into a telecom, it is a good field, but understand that you have to bring lots of innovation there, and you have to be individual contributor and really outstand in the organization. Because it's very price competitive. Jio, Airtel, Vodafone, Idea is almost gone. So 3 or 4 fielders. Reliance Telecom is almost gone. Tata Communication is there. So just 2 or 3 players, in which Jio, of course, scores better than the other players. So it is a very challenging field to get into these days. But if someone is very, very interested in telecom, then you have to work very hard to make your place there. Then comes the government. So if someone wants to get into the government roles and responsibilities, say UPSC, Union Public Service Commission, and so most of you would know UPSC would give you, the successful UPSC would give you the post of IAS or IPS, and many others like Customs Commissioner, Police Commissioner is the IPS, IAS is the District Commissioner. So it requires preparation, very early preparation. So the first thing is choose your subjects which you will appear in UPSC. So in college, if there are subjects which you want to choose, which are your favorites in college, for example, physics or the other subject, chemistry, mathematics, um, it requires preparation from second year itself, because it is very, very competitive. If you go to, many people would know, especially those who are from Delhi, and those who are seen that OTT based on the UPSC, how competitive it is. There are streets in Delhi where students are preparing 24 hours a day. They just sleep. Even during the breakfast, when they go down, they carry the books. So it is very, very competitive. But it is a very good area if someone wants to get into it and uh, serve the nation leading from the front. Because if you are a district collector of a district, then you have lots of power. Then you have lots of budget, lots of power to do very good for the district, for the people there. So similarly, if you are IPS, police commissioner, it is very good to serve people, and there are lots of opportunities to serve people. The next one is the something bit out of the league from the mainstream, I would say, architecture, fashion, and hospitality. So, architect these days again, the architecture has boomed up. The architects, interior designers, the fashion uh, has really boomed up because of the real estate development, and especially furnished real estate developments in the big metros and the luxury housing segment. So, architecture, interior designer also a good career path. It may require some time to establish yourself. So, as a lawyer, doctor, we always say in our friend circle that a lawyer, doctor, architect, uh, fashion designer, unless it is not inherited family business, or unless it is not a name already made by the parents, and if it is the first generation which is starting, it requires lots of time to establish one. I mean, for example, if you know about fashion, we know five or six top designers: Abu Jani, Manish Malhotra, Ritu Beri. But there are so many fashion designers in India. Like, how many names do we know? At max 10, if someone is very interested, at max 15. So it requires lots of time. So these are the domains where one can make their career. And any industry which you go to, it will be one of these. One of these, or something, one or two which I have which I missed here. But grossly, it will cover these. Now, these why I emphasized on the domain is because very very unlikely that the college curriculum will cover the domain in much detail, any college curriculum. So if you are interested, first of all, make your mind what interests you, then understand if there is a demand for it in the market. If that interests you and there is a demand, then start reading about it. Because in your campus interview, when you apply for campus interview and your domain interested organization comes, and when you talk about when you talk about the domain a little bit, then they actually get very impressed, and your chances of selection is very high. For example, let me give you an example. A Kotak Mahindra Bank comes to your campus, and in the selection, campus interview, you tell them you are interested in core banking, and investment banking also interests you. You have read that Kotak has just moved their uh, trading platform from on-premise to Calypso. So this your selection will be sure shot. I mean, they will be so impressed. So start reading about. My humble suggestion is start reading about the domain which interests you, especially if the government interests you and you want to prepare for UPSC or state government public service commission, then please don't waste any single hour after this call and start reading. There is cutthroat competition. Now, coming to the second part, and all of these are related. After domain comes the technology, and these technology are there, as I said earlier, in each of the domain now. Okay, whether it is financial services, manufacturing, retail, gone are those days when manufacturing like the Steel Authority or Tata Steel, we are not technologically advanced and focused only on the machines. Now, technology is part of any industry, any domain, and there is a huge budget which every organization or industry allocates every year to the technology upgrade or change in technology. Earlier they did not. Especially manufacturing, retail. They had the old SAP system for retail, supply chain. That was enough. But now they have a huge budget in technology because they know technology will advance. They need to change their technology. They need to spend more for a long-term benefit in customer penetration and competitive to beat the competition. So after you select this domain, I suggest that you select what is the technology which interests you. Is it a software, hardware, or is it risk and cyber security? So you have to do the combination mapping. For example, if you are interested, it is the next slide, but I'll tell you, for example, if you are interested in financial services and software, okay, then you have to understand and go through what are the software, what are the packages which are used in banking. So, for example, when you log into net banking, ICICI uses which package? T, ICI, Finacle, ICICI uses Finacle. So, how the core banking software works. If you are interested in investment banking in financial services, what are the softwares there for investment banking? Because I'll tell you, these days, most of the software which is there for any of the domain or industry, it is mostly already provided by SAP, Oracle, package software. So there is no coding from scratch. There is just some customization. For example, if you go to financial services again, so you have and software, you have to understand how the changes or the new rules and regulations which are made by Reserve Bank of India, how those are getting implemented by banks. How do they change the software? How do they change, customize it so that the banks adhere to the Reserve Bank of India new policies and guidelines? So it is very interesting. Now, if you are interested in, many people are interested in hardware. So if you're interested in hardware, then you have to understand how the whole database servers, how the whole application server, how the whole data server uh, is managed. They are firewalled. How if the upgrade happens, if the upgrade to the hardware happens, then what is the process to do the upgrade? What is the change management? How to do the downtime so that there is no effect on bank. So, for example, you would be receiving SMS that from this date to this day, the banking services will be affected from your bank because the upgrade is planned. So this is all is hardware. The third comes the cyber security. Few days back, you would have seen how the whole world was, how the whole world suffered, right from the airlines to security check-in because of the security upgrade. I would not say security breach. It was bad security, bad upgrade, bad code push to the live server. So cyber security has become very important, and these days, almost all the industry has a cyber security, big team of cyber security. So if someone is interested, not particularly in any software or hardware, I think cyber security is a very good field these days to get into, and the career opportunities are very very good in cyber security. So if you take some certifications from the college perspective, I'm saying if you start taking some certifications uh, from cybersecurity, the online courses or certifications which are available simultaneously while studying and doing your courses, that will give you lots of benefit in your final campus selection interview. So any of these company comes, they have a cyber security department. Okay. So this is very important. If anyone wants to make a good career interested in securities, then this is a very good option. The third, which is very important part is whatever you select has to be futuristic. See, you may be you may be interested in COBOL, you may be interested in Pascal, but these days no one uses COBOL. Okay, so it has to be very futuristic with artificial intelligence, machine learning. If you see most of the banks these days, if you require to order a checkbook or if you want to know your account balance, all you have to do is to log in from your ID and there is a bot. If you don't go to internet banking, from the bot, you can just mention order a checkbook or know your balance. So the futuristic is very important. Whatever career you select has to be very futuristic. The software, if you select, if Java interests you, then Java has a very limited future these days. If you are interested in, say, Python or Panda library, Python programming language, it has a very good future. Similarly, risk management has a very good future, and whatever combination you select get yourself involved in some part of risk management also, because this is a credential. Risk management and cyber security are aligned, and these are the credentials which will help you a long way and always help you in developing your career. So the earlier you get involved into cyber security, or say if you do not check if you do not go for the IT field, then risk management in any of the field is very important. For example, I'll tell you, if you are in manufacturing, then or if you are managing hardware and your hardware is in Mumbai, what happens if there is a flood, or what happens if there is a 26/11 kind of terrorist attack? I mean, you can't shut down your bank. So where will be your plan B? Where will be your replica servers? How will you do disaster recovery? How will you do business continuity in such kind of eventualities? Like flood, terrorist attacks, etc. The third part is being the domain expert. So whatever technology you select, always select a domain. If possible, select two domains. Just like in MBA, there is a major and minor. Select two domains and be expert in domain. Don't rely totally on technology, because after 10, 15 years of experience, uh, you cannot say, I know Python. You have to say, I know financial services. I've served 10 financial services clients. I've worked in 10 manufacturing uh, organizations like Larsen Toubro, like Larsen Toubro or ISAR or Steel Authority. So you have to select these two. One primary, where you give 80%, one secondary, which is your backup plan, basically, just in case the primary fails, and because of the unknown things like Lehman Brothers collapse, etc. Now, coming to the, I gave multiple example here. Now, coming to the second part, the I have just given an example of fintech banking. Suppose you select a financial services, then financial services has three parts: banking, capital markets, insurance. And these are mostly the technology, or mostly the packages which are used. So banking is core banking, where you do where you open the account, do the KYC, your amount is deposited, you check, you take the amount, so credit, you issue the check, or you transfer the amount. So this is basically core banking at the high level. Capital markets is when you buy a share trading platform, or you have a demat account, you buy a share, you sell a share. So this is capital market. Insurance is when you go for a life insurance, whether it is LIC, Max Life, any other insurance. So it is life insurance, car insurance, property insurance. So it also comes in financial services. So the objective is to tell you, just like financial services has three sub branches or three branches, just banking, capital markets, insurance. Each of these, each of these have three or four subsets, and it is very difficult to master the whole of financial services. I mean, very rarely I have not found anyone in my career or life who says, after a proper below 10 years, I would have also said this and said this, that I have a financial services expertise. But after I got matured and understood industry more, no one you will hear who would say that he is a financial services expert. He would say, I am a banking expert, capital market, or insurance. It is next very almost impossible for anyone to know all the three parts. In banking itself, there is core banking, investment banking, merger acquisitions, capital market. There are many things. Insurance, there are many things. So it is very difficult for one person to know each and every aspect. So generally, people with 30, even with people with 40 years of experience, they would say that, in financial services, I have an understanding of banking. They won't even say that I'm expert in banking because they know that expert is very, very difficult. It is very difficult to be an expert. Now, there are different kind of roles. So the roles are, as I said, in packages, SAP, PeopleSoft, Google, then software development. You can be a software developer. You can be a business analyst who is a domain expert. You can work from the database end, which is called DBA, database administrator. So manage the database backup, etc. Any change in database, table space, schema. Cyber security, you can be a cyber security expert. Risk management, as I explained earlier, it's with cyber security or the hardware, which I explained earlier. You have to manage the whole hardware part. Now, coming to type of employment is basically three types of employment. Just to give you overview, full-time employment where it is a high compliance. You basically are totally defined by the terms and condition of employment. Many people take part-time employment where they say, it is very difficult, in fact, to get at a fresher level. But later they say, I'll work for 4 hours or 5 hours a day, and the salary is given accordingly. Then many people work on the contract. So the contract, they work on a contract, and it has a very low compliance where people on a contract, generally they work for, as a freelancer, they work for 2 or 3 organizations. So, but that happens at either you are very expert in domain or technology, or you have good experience. So these are three types of employment. Now coming to the entrepreneurship part. Till now we have covered employment because I understand and I have experienced many people would like to go for employment as the first few years. Now entrepreneurship is a totally different ballgame. Many people, many students look out for entrepreneurship, and there is nothing right or wrong. You can't say employment is right or entrepreneurship is right and other is wrong. Both have its own flavor. Uh, so in entrepreneurship, there are two kinds of. You have to understand that entrepreneurship is totally not. I would not say totally, but a lot depends on the funding. So even if you have an idea, to conceptualize that idea, to develop that idea, to market that idea, to develop a software on that idea, you require a good funding. Now, there are two types of entrepreneurs. One is the entrepreneur who has to look after. You pass out from the college, there is a family business, uh, or the family industry, or the family firm. You get into that, you learn for some time, and then you run the firm gradually, partner with brothers or anyone who the firm owner or the family person wants. So here is a very good example when Ford, the owner of when the Ford started, and when his son grew up, then the first work Mr. Ford gave to his son was cleaning the cars. He said, start from there in the factory. So cleaning the cars, they started from there. Similarly, if you see, Ambani family or others, they generally don't give some time to understand the business and then they take over. So that's a outlier, but family business is one. It has low risk, it has established. You go and just innovate. In individual capacity, you have to make a product. First of all, you have to develop something which is product market fit. It means, is the market interested in your product? So it can be niche, which has not been in the market, or it has a competitor, but it has to be a product market fit. The market should be ready to take your product. For example, there are the example which I gave about the haystack analytics, that's a niche. Uh, there is no competition right now. But similarly, if you go to the other aspect, Amazon, Flipkart, they all do the same kind of business, right? They connect buyers and sellers. Zomato, Swiggy do same kind of business. So while there there can be a two types of business. One is that the business has not been launched into a market, has not been thought of it. You launch it. The second is that the products are already there, but the market is so big that there is a scope for another product, just like Flipkart, Amazon, etc. Then you have to manage your funding. The funding part is very important. So you have to go to the VC firms, which are venture capital firms, angel investors, or have partners who can do the funding. Then you have to do the revenue planning. What will be the revenue what will be the cost ROI, which is return on investment. So when you go to the VC firms, venture capital firm or angel investor, the third party for asking for funds, their first question is, and I'm also mentor in VC firm India Accelerator. So many startups come and my work is to judge whether the startups are good and what kind of funding needs to be given. So the first thing is what will be the ROI. Now, if you are asking for the investment of 5 crore, tell me next 4 years, 5 years, the projection and how you have calculated that how much return will I get? I am investing 5 crores. What is the return which I am getting and how have you arrived at it? So we go in a totally detail, and once it is uh, satisfactory that the projection is right, and I'm getting after 5 years we get so much percent of return, then we as a VC firm we invest in it. But we also take stocks in that company to be on the safer side. So I give 5 crore, you give me 20% of your company stock. I'm just taking a number, and then my 5 crore multiplies by this one. So you take 30 or 40% of the someone else's company. So this is very important. So bottom line is, whenever you plan for employment or entrepreneurship, go through the flip side. There is a positive and negatives of both. So no one, I don't appreciate if anyone talks good about entrepreneurship or bad about employment or vice versa. Both has its plus and minus, and we have seen in both the areas, people are doing very good and people are not doing good, or people are failing. So there is no hard rule. You have to play on your strength and get there. So that's the brief knowledge sharing which I could do, and I believe that was helpful, and I leave it for question and answer if that is okay.
Sure, sir, sure. We have some questions already on our chat box posted by the students.
Okay, let me go to it. Okay, so operations management. I'm scrolling up. Okay.
So I have noted down certain questions.
So I will start with tell me more about the IT field and how to join a good company. I believe that is the first question. Or I scroll up.
There is the first question was, can you explain a little bit more about the hospitality domain?
Oh, okay. So
yes,
I got it. So hospitality domain, maybe I missed there to explain in detail. So hospitality domain, suppose someone wants to join a hotel industry, or in a hospital, the next question is operation management. So in a hospital, these days, while the doctors, nurses, the people in medical field are there, but they are also taking people from the operations management who manage the whole supply chain, sales, marketing of the hospital. So in hospitality, basically, the hotel industry comes in, the marriage industry comes in, the hospital industry comes in, except the medical field. So, I have friends there in Horizon, in Reliance Hospital here in Mumbai, who are not doctors, but they manage the whole supply chain of the machines, the spare parts, or the oxygen cylinders, everything based on the whole. It is supply chain and also taking care of the sales and marketing of the hospital. So these are two, three areas of hospitality. Now, more about the IT field and how to join a good company. See, there are two ways. One is uh, in IT field, there is a phenomenal, since there are many service industries in India, both Indian company and, non-Indian companies. So Indian company like Infosys, Wipro, non-Indian companies like Accenture, Capgemini, Deloitte, EY. So there are two things. One is I have been in Accenture for 14 years, then Capgemini 3 years, Deloitte 2 years, KPMG last 1 year, and left in November. I'll tell you exactly how we do the freshers planning. So at the, in by October, the projection comes to each of the project on how many freshers you want in a project, and every project needs freshers, that is the new hires from the college, to manage their cost. Because if you increase 10% salary of everyone, then the revenue which you are getting from the client is getting, the gap gets less. So you have to take freshers. So based on that, the HR goes to company and hires. So there are two ways. One is the companies goes to college and do the campus selection. The other way is, and which you have to keep an eye on it, that there are many off-campus which is happening. For example, I'll tell you, day before yesterday, Capgemini had a off-campus. Today, Cognizant has a off-campus in Chennai, in Hyderabad. Sorry. So these off-campus, because uh, because it requires lots of logistics for an organization to go into one college and do campus selection, take 4 or 5. I'll tell you, if they take 3 or 4 people to a campus selection in a city, I'm telling from my experience. So HR would come to me and say that, can you give 2 team lead and 1 project manager? We are going to, I'm just taking a name, Mangalore, Manipal. So if you are taking 3 people, 2 team leads, 1 project manager for 2 days to Mangalore, Manipal, their billing for a day is this much. My total loss is around $3,000. I need a approval that, this is the loss. So I, as a head of financial services, have a certain revenue for the organization to meet. I cannot spare $3,000 or 4,000. Ultimately, I have to prove the revenue. So many colleges, many corporates do off campus on Saturdays and Sundays, where they call students to their colleges and, the team leads or project manager, because those are the days when the client do not pay for the people on weekends, if it is hourly pay, revenue, etc. So you have to keep a very close watch. There are many sites, I would say, Internshala, Glassdoors, where you can find out, uh, which the off campus about companies. But I would suggest keep a close watch on the IT off campus, because it happens mostly on the weekends, and it comes with a very limited advertisement. So possibility of job and role in operation management and human resources. Human resources and operation management is mostly, I would say, it relates to the supply chain, where, for example, I gave you, if you join a hospital as operations management team, or lead of operations management, or a hotel, Leela Hotel as operations management, then you have to manage the whole supply chain perspective, the check-ins, check-outs, how many rooms are available, how, if the rooms, I would say, when you go to hotels.com or cleartrip.com during last minute, for example, for tomorrow, similarly for the flights, there will be two scenarios. Either the rate will be too high or the rate will be too less. So the rate may be too high because they have just 1 or 2 and it is a high season. They know that people are looking at last minute. The rate can be low. For example, now in Mumbai, it is all flooded. There are very low business visits. So people would, they do the rates low, because even if some margin is, some profit is earned, that's fine. So operations management is mostly with supply chain to any of the organization or entity. Now, human resources is a very interesting field, but Davinder, when you go to human resources, you have to take a additional degree in human resources. I don't know if you are already doing a degree in human resources, then it's fine. Otherwise, you have to take additional one in human resources, or the next, or the other ways, get into our organization. I know many people who went into our organization in technical field, and then requested to get into a human resources department, but it depends on the organization. But if you go for a human resources certification, or some course, it will give you added advantage to join as a human resource professional. Cyber security, Ahmad, as I explained, is a very good field these days, because I think day before yesterday also there was some cyber security breach. A week back there was a cyber security, it was upgrade breach. But everyone is very, as the technology advances, the open source increases, the cyber security has, every organization has a big cyber security team. They are I mean, there are lots of things which they are learning, even in abroad, like US, UK. It's a very, the demand is very high. So cyber security, but for the cyber security, if you want to go, I suggest you take some of the courses, some of the certifications on cyber security. It will help to get into our organization and initial level. So, Baisakhi, on the AWS architect, it is a very good role in AWS architect, but you have to be totally interested in architecture. So architecture is a field where it requires lots of expertise, lots of nitty-gritties, lots of detail. For example, we rely on architect. If we start a project from fresh and someone says that I need to develop this project, we just give it to architect and they tell us how many servers need to be there, what is the firewall, where will be data server, where will be application server, where will be web server, how will that be connected. So you have to really be interested in that, and it requires lots of continuous study. If you are interested, which is very good, I suggest you go for AWS certification. You start reading and take level 1 certification, level 2. It will be very good for that. Uh, IT industry, I just explained, I think, about how to go that. Uh, there is no more jobs. Actually, I think there was lots of job. I think relatively some years are good, some years are bad. But as I said, uh, you know, uh, this year, 2 months back, Ernst& Young has taken more than 100 people, 150 people. KPMG has taken 50 people, all in IT. Accenture has taken 50, 100 people. Capgemini, they could not fulfill. So day before yesterday, they were having this off campus. Today, Cognizant is having off campus. So don't go by the media reports. There are lots of jobs. Don't worry. Operation management, I explained. Which field is suitable for your career? See, Purva, I suggest that no one can actually guide or tell you what should you do. Anyone should only, and I strongly suggest, I condemn those people who just force people to what do you do, because I have seen many intelligent people, many good architects who have gone for starting a Kathak class. They are interested in Kathak. They are interested in music. They are contented with life and play music in functions. So that's one example. But we can only tell you that these are the fields, these are the positives, negatives, and you select whatever interests you. And mind it, Purva, the career is for 40 years. You start at 22, 23, and you stop at 60 years. 60. So 40, 48 years, right? No, so 38 years. So don't do anything in haste, which you have to do, which you have to do very sadly for 38 years. do something which interests you, because it is about life. It is not easy to work something which you don't like 10 hours, 11 hours a day for 38 years. Okay. So take your call. Operations management, which skills required in finance to get a high job package? See, high job package is cyber security has a very good package relatively. And if you are going to a investment banking, but I suggest you look at the cyber security, MBA best specialization courses, business analyst, finance. My recommendation is go for the finance analyst, but it also depends on your interest, because the finance analyst has very wide scope. You can go into Credit Suisse, JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, Bank of America, Kotak Bank, IndusInd Bank, ICICI Bank, Max Insurance, capital markets. So it has a very wide, and since it has a wide scope, so the demand is also very high. So that and companies also increase salary, so that because the demand is high, so that people don't switch from one organization to other very soon. So this gives a very high salary. Company secretary by ISCII, helpful to pursue company secretary along. It is very helpful, I would say, Kushal, but I also suggest that you do more research on it. I don't have much exposure, I'm sorry, on the company secretary part. Uh, Thanks, Satya. Customer relationship management is uh, is also good, but I think that if you are interested in that, then go for customer sales position. That has a better prospects. Business business, international business and business analytics. I think it is a very good combo, and for the stable career also it is very good. So if it interests you, go for it. Content writer and scope. I'm sorry, Mohini, I don't have much, but I can only tell you that content writer is has a limited scope in my experience in the industry. However, if you want to go to publications or author, being an author, then it may be a good option. Learn about entrepreneurship. This see on web you can first find out the what is the what is the power map in entrepreneurship, what all metrics you have to look at, how to start. Go to Nikhil Kamat's video on Zero Tha, go to Avnish Grover video. He is sometimes blunt, but those people who have started entrepreneurship, say Zero Tha, successful one, and learned, I think go to their video. There are lots of learning plus net. Uh, Importance of foreign language. I suggest it is a very good option if you go to a foreign language, learn some foreign language. It is a very good option. Please go for it. It will either benefit or it won't, but it won't never harm you. Can I get work from home in a see work from home is totally dependent on which organization you get into. For example, I can say E&Y or Price Waterhouse as a fresher has liberty where you can in a week 3-4 days do work from home. So all it depends in which organization you get into. 5 most rewarding career, I said, as I said in the first part of domain: financial services, retail, manufacturing, government. So these are some of the full stack developer. Uh, I want to make a full stack. The interview processes, they will, as a fresher, they won't ask much. But if you show your interest and just show some of the projects which you have done as a full stack developer in a closure and other things, it will really interest the campus hiring folks. Um, from the humanities background, I suggest, you also go through the sustainability and the other the sustainability environment. These are very upcoming or these are very established and very appreciated fields. Even the banks like IndusInd have their own humanities department. Uh, Beneficial for digital marketing. Yes, of course, in digital marketing, do the segmentation and do the analytics. Many startups or many companies which are getting launched go for digital marketing. Yes, it is very good in my view. Data scientist scope in futuristic nature is, the predictive, prescriptive analytics and all those are very very much in demand. If you see, most of the bots, etc., have already been taken into account. So it has, and plus machine learning has a very good scope. So, in my view, yes. Does maths is required in web interview? I'm sorry, I'm not able to understand the question, Salman. But I recommend that if you are interested in maths, then go ahead with the studying predictive analytics. It will be very good to study predictive analytics and combine it with maths. Uh, Tools can be learned for control in analytics field. See, there are lots of tools and there are lots of freewares which are available to learn in analytics field. If you go to Google and find out tools, I know the programming languages like Python is there, then the libraries like Panda is there. So, and these days, so if you go to the chat GPT and write anything and get the information of analytics and comparison, you can easily get. So Shruti, what I suggest is that first you try to utilize the knowledge which you get from chat GPT. Just write what are the tools in analytics, what are the latest tools, and what are the freewares which you can do. So after college hours or in the college library when you get time, you can always go through those previous tools which are available for which no licensing or cost is there, and those are also legitimate tools. I mean, not pirated ones. So that will really help. So I believe to the best of my capacity, I have answered the questions. I'm sorry if I was not able to answer some. My apologies.
No issues, sir. You have taken a lot of questions, and you can see the enthusiasm our students are putting forward for your in response of your knowledge sharing, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Okay, I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to you, Ritesh sir, for sharing your knowledge and for giving a very insightful perspective about how to plan the career landscape. I'm sure that the students are now able to plan and make an informed decision regarding employability and entrepreneurship part, which career is suitable to them and what kind of skills, what kind of domain, and what kind of technologies should they choose to. So I'm hopeful that this has made a great impact to the minds of our students.
Thank you so much, Arpit. Thank you. It was pleasure interacting everyone. Hopefully we will interact soon. And my best wishes to all the students. I would again re-emphasize that you are in one of the best universities of the world. You have got the forum, you have got the infrastructure, you have got very good professors. So you are privileged to have got such a platform, such a opportunity. So all you have to do is put more efforts. So do that. It's for your benefit. Best of luck to everyone.
I would also like to thank the participants who have participated and with very high energy level, and you have asked so many good questions, I would say, which is very relevant to all the other people also who were not participating actively, but they have listened to the response Dr. Ritesh has given and might have got a lot of ideas regarding this. So thank you so much, participants, for joining us to this masterclass. I would also like to extend my thanks to Lovely Professional University, our seniors, head of wing directors, for letting us organize this session. And I would like to extend my thanks to the team who's working in the background to organize such kind of masterclass. Thank you so much.
Thanks.